started?
Since she didn't answer the phone, so I don't know where she's at. So
Okay, well, we can get started.
yep,
And is Dustin here?
yep.
He's here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I called this meeting because Lee had brought a couple of things to my attention, and I just wanted to kind of gather with you guys and just find out you know, what ideas you have. I think, Lee, you had said to me, if I remember correctly, that Dustin had expressed an interest in maybe doing something or volunteering for something, and same thing for Mary. I was hoping she would have been on here, and I just kind of said, well, let's just have a board meeting and talk about, what things people want to do, what they don't want to do, if people are happy in their role, things like that. This is kind of like a check-in kind of a thing, and just so we can, know what we're doing for the next quarter of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, Dustin, I
Of course,
was volunteering.
This was my daddy would call. So hold on 1 second.
Sorry.
Catch what she said.
The other thing I've noticed is that it seems like the audio quality is more inconsistent now than it has been with Zoom.
Well, I mean, part of it depends on what people are on. I'm on AirPods at the moment, so they're not fantastic, but
So I'm back.
I just didn't want to run over to the computer.
Well, hey, it works.
Whatever works. But I was saying, so Lee, can you share with me what you were sharing with me? Because you said Mary Carabitos had expressed an interest in doing something or volunteering for something. And I think, like you said, you want to inform me that Dustin was interested in something like that. I'm just trying to have a meeting.
Sorry, Dustin, I don't mean to be putting words in your mouth, but I believe you're interested in the events, like, where we might have, where we might eat out and things like that. And I mean, we have two venues we need to find for, one for the end of July, and the other would be the Christmas dinner. And the person who used to be one of the strongest people who would help us with that, and Gail Baldwin, is well, she's going to have a knee replacement, so that keeps her out of action for a while, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let me see.
So I just, so Dustin, what do you think about that?
Yeah, you can be unmuted, Dustin. There's
it's a free for all, honey.
Yep.
I'm mute.
Yeah, and I apologize ahead of time if I've put words in your mouth. So trying to get you. All right.
Was muted.
Yeah. There we go. Still. Come on, Dustin's device.
Yeah,
cooperate with him.
Is he able to unmute?
You should still, if
we'll probably hear from him in a minute. So
yeah. I don't know if you're on the app, it's mute. It's usually in the bottom left. I'm assuming Android puts it in the same.
Is he on the app?
Place. Oh, hang on. Dustin is calling me. Hang on a second.
Okay, there might be a technical.
Yeah, there may be a technical issue. So let me see if I can do this.
You left the meeting.
Yeah, we just lost somebody.
Yeah, Sean.
Left the meeting. Yeah, I'm not too bright. Yeah, never mind. Surely everybody has at least two phones available to them at all times. Yeah.
I have a home phone and a cell phone.
Yep, that would make two of us. As you'll find out if mine starts ringing. So anyway.
Yeah, mine always rings. I keep one because it's the louder of the two. Sometimes I'm not near my cell phone. I didn't want to be on her too long. I just wanted to have a quick check-in and just find out where everybody's at. Are people okay?
Yeah. At this rate, there won't be a lot in the minutes.
Right.
Not much has happened so far.
Yeah,
So does Mary Carabino says, can she get email or can she not get email?
their situation is that she uses the computer interface to get at Gmail, and her vision is in that terrible between zone where Zoom text ain't enough anymore, but we're not on JAWS yet.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
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 Okay, so
Yes.
what happened was the record thing had disappeared, and I didn't realize that it wasn't checked. So every time I was trying to unmute, I kept getting a thing that said the host will not allow you to unmute.
Yep, that's what
Oh.
happens.
Well,
if
that
you-
will do
if you
it.
don't-
Yeah.
So yeah, I called Sean and I was like, let them know that whoever, like, I thought you guys had me locked. So
No,
it's
we
just-
wouldn't do that to you.
I wouldn't even know how, Dustin.
Well,
no,
there-
No.
there
Well,
are
there
some
is-
meetings I go on where they do lock you. So
well, they lock,
yeah.
there are some where they lock everybody,
Right.
Yes.
and those are a huge pain because half the time, never mind.
Right.
So as far as answering the original question, so for the sake of time, since I've delayed us by about 5 minutes, I will be willing to help with that. But I will make this clear. If I'm going to help, we got to have the majority of it done by the middle of September, because once the second part of September hits, if everything goes right, I'm going to train with a new dog, which means I'm going to have my hands full and I'm going to be stepping
yeah.
back from a lot of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Sure.
fact, I'm going to tell you guys ahead of time right now. I know this is jumping ahead, but I'm just being upfront. I'm not running for vice president next time around. So you guys will need to find someone.
That's fine. That's why we're having these meetings. We kind of know where we all are in our role. And it's not like you can't, come and be a part of the board down the road.
Mm-hmm.
You need to step back. You wouldn't be the first person to step back for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm still going to be working when I come back, but I'm going to have to take that time to really train with this new dog outside of work and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So.
We understand, but
Oh,
again, that's why,
Oh yeah,
at least for me and
that's
how
a job in and of itself.
Oh, yeah.
correct. But that's why I said I know that the state does quarterly meetings. I like to have a couple meetings a year just to check in and see where people are, because seasons change, things change, life changes. You just gotta have a check-in. You gotta
Yeah.
make sure folks are okay. And you're putting that out
Yeah.
there gives us an idea to plan ahead and to think ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So,
Where will you be going? Are you doing? Or is it Seeing Eye? Is that your preferred school?
Yeah, I'm going to the Seeing Eye. And the worst
I
thing
thought that
is,
was.
yeah, the worst thing is I won't know till the middle of August whether I'm actually going to be able to go or not.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah, but the good thing is Elway doesn't necessarily, it's not a thing where he has to retire right now, especially because I'm working hybrid. So I mean, we're only really going into the office 1 day a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I can retire him pretty much whenever. Like I've got a home picked out for him, and we've started the transition. But
Great.
if something happens that they say we can't do it till October, I can work him longer than September 1st.
Yeah. Okay.
At least
great.
right now. I mean, I don't know how.
Yeah.
well, keep us updated as things go on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
keep us updated. You can email
Yeah.
me anytime and let me know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to also create more of an open door policy. Again, I like to check in just to
Sure.
make sure everybody's okay, because
You can send it a board
volunteer
list.
for all of us. So we just want to make sure that folks
Yeah.
are okay with what they're doing. And if people want to change what they're doing, not be afraid to speak up and say, hey, I'd
Yeah.
rather do this versus this.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that. I appreciate everyone's support. To be honest, I'm more of a private person when it comes to stuff like that. Like I just handle it, but at the same time, I do appreciate everyone's support.
Sure.
Well, if you don't want to tell the whole group, at least let me know.
No, I don't care if the group knows. I'm just saying, like, I'm not one of those where I like talk through my, you know what I mean? I just kind of take care of it, and I probably
Yeah.
just tell people more,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
So do you have any thoughts as to where we should do our July get together?
So are we, so do you guys want me to help with so do you guys want me to work on both gatherings then, or am I doing one and someone else is doing the other? What are
See,
the thoughts?
the person who usually makes
Yeah.
puts the most
Baldwin,
effort into it is having a knee replacement
yeah.
in May. So she's not going to be good for much for a while.
Yeah,
Right.
knee replacement takes at least 3 months worth of recovery.
So yeah, and what we know about Christmas is we are not going to Charlie's. That is one thing we're pretty darn sure about.
Yeah, we're not
Come
doing,
on, man, that was a wonderful I'm being sarcastic.
That
That was
felt-
that was a wonderful
we are
place.
not doing that.
Well, the year before it was good,
Year
but
before it
apparently
was.
this time it wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I wasn't able to go, and apparently I'm better for it. From
uh,
what I heard, it
I was
was a
not
train wreck.
happy with what we had experienced this year.
Yeah, it
Last
was
year.
not good.
Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, I knew the Monday ahead of time that we're likely to have problems since the manager said, like, "Well, I got that day off, so I guess I won't be here." I thought, like, "Oh,
Oh shoot!
hey."
Not
That
good.
certainly worked out. That's it. So
I know that we've tended to do not necessarily for like an event, but I know that it's kind of worked out in the past that kind of June, July, August, we've ended up doing something at the Rusty Bucket, and so I don't know if that would be an option.
We did Rusty Bucket
Or-
last year.
Did we do that we did that in July?
It
or
was in
August, right?
August because it was after the convention.
Yeah, and I remember that working rather well, if I remember.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
it went well. It did.
mhm.
It
So
was
then
hot.
Mary-
It was great.
So
Yeah.
here's my concern, guys. That I definitely am on board about the July thing, but the Christmas thing is probably more crucial to decide what direction we want to go.
Mhm.
Because if we're gonna have if people want to go back to a hotel like we used to, that's probably something which I'm not for that, but again, I'm one person. That's something that we probably need to start like checking into now.
Yeah, that needs to
Yeah.
be planned it much later.
That is
Yeah.
a good point.
So
this
I
is-
mean, I
this is-
have an idea. I'm sorry, go on, whoever's just
Oh, sorry, this is Catherine, and I was taking out a support group to dinners, and I researched this one restaurant in Worthington. It's an Italian restaurant. I'm not going to say it right. Buca di Beppo.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there.
they were really
Yeah.
nice, and so and this was some years ago. I went through a walkthrough and had a meal, talked with the manager. Said that, and I was looking at a group of maybe 20 people for the support group, but like, could they work with the cost of the meals? Could they had several different rooms available
Mhm.
that were kind of cozy for smaller groups. But the food is family style, but they can make, some accommodations. They can, find some dietary needs they could meet. So that might be worth exploring. It's a really beautiful atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
that's-
been around a while.
And I've been there a couple of times when there were like more patrons, and the rooms didn't get overly loud, which I think is
Oh, that's good.
kind of nice.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that might be something to explore.
Mhm.
That's one option.
Yeah, there's one
Yeah.
in the brewery district too, right?
I don't know
One,
that.
yeah, downtown Brewery District. Yeah.
And the
One
brewery
in
district.
Worthington would probably be better for mainstream and stuff to get to, probably.
Yeah, it's kind of a side
Probably.
road. The one in Worthington, it's near Wilson Bridge Road, and there's a
Oh,
side
that's
road
close
there,
to where Katie is.
Oh, okay.
and there's
Yeah.
right close to Katie's. And there's a huge parking lot, and it's a very
Oh,
large
it's in
building.
there. I
Um,
know where it is then. It's near the Kroger's probably.
Yeah.
Yep, it is near the Krogerly.
Okay. All right.
So
So would that be July or September or December if we were
I
going
think she was
to?
thinking for December.
I was
I
thinking for
always do that.
December.
Yeah. that's-
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
December.
thinking this would be more of an appropriate like Christmas
Yeah, for December.
gathering for December.
Yeah.
Like that, they
better
get on it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, for July, what would people think about like a Massey's pizza have that pizza instead of
Oh, they've done really well with us too. Yeah, I think that would be an idea.
Fine. Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, have you ever done the Cheesecake Factory or anything before?
I've ate there, but not with a group. I mean,
I
Yeah,
don't know if
be honest,
ACB's
I'm a-
ever done it.
Actually,
The
yeah,
Cheese Factory.
Big group.
yeah, we did, Lynn had.
We did it for work
Yeah,
and we had a large crowd.
yeah.
Oh, good.
Okay,
It was problematic
nice.
the Saturday that we went because it was after a meeting. Mary Lynn set one up and we managed to get like 6 or 7 people in there. I don't know how, I know nothing about how they handle a group of 30 to 40. So, I went there and checked the roads out and stuff like that because I thought we had to walk there, but that turned out to be false. But anyway, the menu is very extensive, let's put it that way. So
well, I
Yeah,
just want to
they
have a backup option, just have a couple options in case one doesn't work out or the date we want is booked at one place. That's why I'm just throwing out other.
Yeah, no, that makes
That
Yeah, it
makes
makes sense.
sense.
to have a couple of.
Did you want somebody to like call the Cheesecake Factory and see what kind of menu they might serve for a large group, and
mhm,
you know if they have the seating capacity for one?
mhm.
I can call, if I need to, I can call and ask some questions.
Well, let
okay.
me interject in here, like we have our volunteers available who would like to pay for the chapter meals for the July meeting. So that we have. And for the December meeting, the last 2 years, what we've done is pay that out of chapter funds.
Okay,
And last year, we actually had a very generous donation of $1,000 from just anonymous donor. We're not going to mention that person's name. And so that, as it worked out, that almost entirely paid for the meal.
Oh my goodness!
That may
Wow.
not pan out this time. It may, in the Cheesecake Factory may be more expensive, but given the chapter's financial situation, I think we can pay for people to order off the menu because that's simple for the waiters. Now, what gets non-simple is where you start having banquet choices like we used to do.
Yes.
yeah.
And that's where Larry and Marty got into making little slips of paper that said this person gets salmon, that person gets beef, and then
Oh, yeah.
that's
the-
so
the waiter that
which
complicated.
came
is
up with
a lot
that.
of work, which
Yeah.
it's off to them to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
So if we can find
A way to not have to do all
yeah,
that.
so this year we don't need to do that. In following years, we might have to come up with some creative way to stake people, like say everybody gets staked $20 and or if you pay or rather pay the chapter $25 and then after that it's free range, something like that. You can order what you want. But that's just an idea. I'm not saying we're doing
Yeah,
that.
that would be similar to what Larry did with, you pay part of the dinner and then the chapter pays for.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we were used to
know.
going to whatever that desperately bad place was at Refugee River.
Charlie.
Yeah.
it
No.
was
That's
the
just different.
Before that.
The Berwick
was one.
Party Hut.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, they used to be good, and then
They
they went
used to be
downhill. And
really
then they went
good.
even further than that. But anyway, so
And then has anybody ever, I'm just throwing it out there, have we ever been to a Mexican restaurant? Just for the sake of something that's,
no, that would be cool too. I mean, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just,
I remember
again,
the
trying
other
to think of
thing.
something that's different, that's, culturally enriching too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
One of the things there can be some dietary issues around Mexican food for some
yes.
people. I'm not a big fan of Mexican food because I don't like anything even the least bit spicy. So I'm not a huge fan. Also, they tend to use a lot of onions, and there are people I know two. I'm dating one, and my job coach is another. Two people who are very allergic to onions. One of them to the point where if they eat onions, they start throwing up. So
but
it's something I've been thinking
and I'm not an
about
onion
more.
fan either. I always tell people hold the onions.
It's something I've been thinking about more because some places will put them on sandwiches and they won't even tell you.
Well, and that's
that
where you
it's
have to let them
on
know
there.
that people have severe food allergies. You just can't do that. you know, and
Yeah,
sometimes.
my partner was like, sorry, Chipotle, but I need you to make this again because you've got onions in here and I'd rather not die. So can you remake this again?
Yes, I mean, you have to tell people.
He was just, yeah, that was his way.
I'm sure they would rather be told than be faced with a lawsuit or something.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just throwing it
Well-
out there as something that's different, you know, something culturally different. You know,
I know.
Other thing that
Another-
might be fun next year, the spaghetti warehouse is supposed to open
Yeah,
new
fine.
downtown.
it is supposed to open back up.
Yeah.
That was coming back.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Near
coming
the,
back. They're gonna have the
Common.
locomotive there.
Cause I heard that they had
Near the
closed it down
Commons, I
for
guess.
some various reasons.
Oh, their roof caved in, so that kind of do that.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would.
See, the story
That'd
I
do
was
it.
told,
roof.
I was told the roof caved in and whoever owns the building was being cheap and didn't want to pay for the repairs. So the guy that ran the restaurant kind of had to disband. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're reincarnated on High Street, basically across from the Columbus Commons. So
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Right, Commons.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
may have to put everybody on mute because I've got Spectrum coming at between 8 and 9. So who knows what's
Okay.
going to happen here? So sorry, but I'll listen anyway.
Or they could come at
Just to let
9:30.
you know.
I hope they come
I have
sooner
a
on the
question.
earlier side of that
Mary,
window.
go ahead, Mary. Yeah,
When do you have a date set in July for the?
it would be the
this,
last Saturday, which I think is the 29th. Because previous
in
year,
July? Okay.
22nd, it was the 30th, and
Yeah, because the 8th is no, the 8th is a Friday, we think. Yeah, the 8th is Friday because July 1st is a Saturday. The 8th
It's
is
a Saturday.
Saturday, 15th, 22nd, or 29th.
yeah,
Yep.
And the
Yeah,
state
the-
board
Okay,
meeting is on the
29th. Okay,
15th.
that's good.
and
Yeah, 'cause the
the
convention is the national convention the first week of July.
yeah, and
Yeah.
typically we wouldn't have to stay with this date, but typically we do it on the Christmas meeting on the second Saturday in December, which is the 9th.
Okay,
Board meeting.
July 29th. I better write that on the calendar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
July
think we should
29th.
No,
stick with
is
the,
there a time set?
For the
Is,
Christmas
is
one
this,
or the
no, for the July one?
last year I know we did it between 2 and 5, so maybe you might want to probably keep that same time.
Okay,
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Yeah.
That is a good time.
Yeah, that's a good
Bye.
time.
What's the day in July? I'm sorry.
July 29th,
29th.
29th.
Okay,
the last Saturday in July.
okay.
Yes.
I think on the Christmas one, we should stick with the 9th because I think if you go any later, you're gonna run in, it's probably gonna be harder to get a venue because most people.
Closer
most-
to the holiday.
Yeah,
and
people
it's gonna
doing
be
their
hard to
own
get people
holiday
together.
party, just like we're trying to.
That's
That's a good idea.
that's good.
Dustin, you said you had an idea for the Christmas and then I interrupted you and you never got a chance to say what you thought a
What
good
your
venue
idea
might be.
was.
Oh, I was originally. I couldn't remember, to be honest. I think I was gonna suggest that we did, I was gonna suggest Massey's Pizza for the July one and then Rusty Bucket for the December one, but it just dawned on me that most likely the NFB will probably be using the Rusty Bucket on that day, and I don't want to put us in a situation where both organizations are trying to use their restaurant.
Hmm.
We'd have to rumble.
Yeah.
So I'm open to whatever. The only thing I would
We'll just
ask
go
is,
to a different location.
well, the only thing
There's
I
more
would
than
ask
one
is that
Rusty
we
Bucket.
narrow
is
it
true.
down so I know who I'm supposed to call and who not to call.
Mhm.
When we get to that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We probably want to work on.
I like the idea of Buca di Beppo because I've been with fairly large groups of family and friends, and it does
Yeah,
work
It's
out
been
well.
years since I've been there.
It's been years for me too, but
Same here.
Yeah, it was
but
good.
they
So
So
I
if
think,
we do that, do we want to do like family style where we have people choose? And obviously, like I would get the dishes that we can choose from, Or is everyone gonna order off the menu? Because if I remember right,
I
it's
don't
one of
think
those-
you can do that there.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna say,
have-
I think we would have to pick like 3 or 4 dishes for everybody,
Oh,
and they'd have to choose similar to like they did when we
Yeah, it
went to
would
the,
be like the banquet almost.
yeah, which I don't care, that's fine. I just wanna
Okay.
make sure,
yeah.
because
didn't know that.
I would think ordering off their menu, like people would get way too much, like we'd be feeding people for a week, and as far as I'm concerned, we're only feeding them for one meal.
Yeah.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think
I
one of
don't
the
even-
menu options should be vegetarian for those who may be in that category.
I agree.
Mhm,
At least one of those.
yeah.
Or
That's-
gluten, because of this being pastas,
Mhm.
That's
could be
true. Yeah.
gluten free too.
One gluten, one veggie, and yeah.
Mhm.
It's good to have those choices.
Yeah,
My suggestion would be, obviously I'm gonna call them, see if they'd even entertain the idea, and then I'm that type of
Okay.
person that I'm probably gonna go up and meet with them.
yeah.
And I'm gonna be real direct with them and let them know what they're getting into, and I wanna make sure, no, I'm just being honest, like, I want them to understand
Right.
that there's gonna be 40
To be
Good.
prepared.
Right.
blind people in there, and I'm gonna request that we're gonna at least need 4 or 5 people serving us.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good, yeah.
Someone
And
that's
then-
trained to work with disabled,
Well, I would-
know,
I don't know if
Right.
you'd have to go that far.
Right.
I don't know if you'd have to go that far,
Yes,
but
you
you just
do.
need enough
Well,
servers.
Mhm.
Well,
just need enough-
I
I think 4 or
sometimes
5, we need 4 or 5
we
easily.
need 4 or
Yeah.
5, but this is my thought. Every time we're out in public, especially if we're doing something ahead, we need to, if we can, in a kind of not so structured way, kind of make it a teachable moment, because whatever things we can impart to those servers may help them in the future when they come across another group that's not us.
Right.
So,
Right.
Mhm.
And then my thought was maybe I would come up with 5 or 6 dishes that we
This
could
is a-
bring to the
Close the line.
September meeting, or
This is a
I
reminder.
should be back in
Close the line.
October, but maybe the chapter could vote on like we used to in the past.
Okay, that's how they do it. Remember also that if the chapter is paying for it, it's like one visually impaired person and a sighted companion, if they have that.
That-
So that's what,
Does it need to be a sighted companion, or is it just one
it can
visually
be a
impaired person?
companion,
And some-
you know, hey.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, you
Okay.
define that.
There's no checkbox for their member of the chapter. The IRS doesn't like that, limiting like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of rules.
not that I'm about to tell them, but anyway, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So my thought is we at least need to work on
Oh,
July
and it's
1st.
one check. It's one check. That'll
One
make
check.
them very happy. One check, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that will make them very
And
happy.
one check except for drink tabs.
Yeah, except for
The chapter
tabs,
won't
yeah.
pay for alcohol. Maybe.
So-
that. Yeah, that is always difficult because I try to make sure, like I try to order something a little bit off the wall, like Sprite or something that most people won't order, so that way I stand out to the person. But yeah, that is hard when you have, a bunch of blind people. They don't know our names. We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And probably this is again a teachable moment. Maybe I'm sure as waiters and waitresses, they have to have their tables numbered. So, and if they don't, that's something they need to, consider that, hey, if there's a group, maybe tables 1, 2, and 3 take their orders, and 4 and 5, something like that. That would help them to be more organized instead of feeling like they're scatterbrained everywhere. And it's a bunch of us and we can't see them, and they can see us, but we can't see them.
Yeah, I'm not planning on going in there and being like, you will do this or else. I'm just gonna explain like you'd probably be wise to have 4 or 5 people, and here's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your plan to go visit them and then let them know about things is the best plan, because that's
Yeah,
how
I
I've
think
always
that's a good-
done it, is to visit the restaurant at least twice,
Yep.
And also one of the things that as treasurer, I'll be involved with this. There's the chapter doesn't pay sales tax, and I bring that little form along with me along with the checkbook on the day of the
Okay.
meal.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it does.
I've
So,
noticed.
so if you want, I can call both places. The Massey's one is going to be very easy. I'm not as concerned about that as I am the Buca de Beppo one.
Okay, yeah.
Because Massey's is never like the one at Graceland. If we come in there in the afternoon, they would probably love it because they're usually not crowded in the afternoon, especially at
say
that time of
Graceland,
year.
you
There's not
mean-
going to be many sporting events on or anything.
You talk about
And that's for
Graceland
December?
on the south
No.
end, Graceland?
Yeah,
Oh, that's in July.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, that would be the July.
Yeah.
I like the Buca de Beppo idea than going to Massey's. That's just me.
Well, it's two different
Well, we
events.
could do
yeah,
both.
it's two different events.
yeah,
Okay.
right.
Two
Massey's
different
in
events and
July.
two different styles and two different purposes, or
Yeah.
somewhat different
Yeah.
purposes.
Yeah.
And I really like the idea of a pre-visit for any group. I mean, it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
a nice
Oh,
courtesy
yeah.
to
Well,
the
here's the thing,
restaurant
both
owners.
those places are Italian style food too. So,
Oh, sort of. I mean, Massey's does
Pizza.
their strange Hawaiian pizza and their strange chorizo sausage pizza. They're strange anyway. So,
but they're still the same family. That's still Italian food.
oh yeah. Well, it's still
One of the things that Massey's can do that other places don't do is, and they will actually, you can get a pizza with Alfredo sauce on it, not like a white garlic sauce, but it's actual like
Ooh.
Alfredo that would go on a pasta. And I tried that with a friend, and that was actually really good. And I don't know of any
Huh.
other place that does that.
They
If you
have
want
more
it.
than just pizza. Like they have sandwiches, fries, wings, all kind. I mean, it's like a sports bar basically.
And that location is pretty nice size too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the old BW3s.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I know
yeah,
the
that makes sense.
support group that meets on Tuesdays. I know they've gone to that Massey's Pizzas a couple of times. I've been there with the group, and the group seemed pretty comfortable there.
Are they large enough, the one at Graceland?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was just asking. I just
Right.
couldn't see that being.
They could probably handle 120 people. So
Oh, wow,
Oh
good.
my.
I did. The waitress staff might go out and commit suicide, but hey, you know.
Yeah.
Harakiri.
Okay, well, it sounds like we're headed that way.
That sounds, yeah, it sounds like
Some
we're-
plans.
This is Melody. Massey's also had a buffet. I think it's 11 to 2. I'm sorry, I'm not feeling well. I haven't participated much. I had gone in there with a group of people that had a whole bunch of different things going on and different devices and mobility aids, and they were quite helpful in helping us identify things and bringing things right to our table and noticing our needs. So it wasn't hard, and they accommodated a group years ago.
Wow.
Cool.
Great.
Yeah, that
That
sounds
sounds
good.
like a done deal. Huh, okay.
Never thought of that one. And I've
Are
never
there other
that
things?
location.
Yeah. Are there other things we need to discuss?
I think those are the main two, you know, and everybody else is doing okay in their role.
Yeah.
Nobody has any.
Yeah. I would like to make a friendly suggestion, Janae, that when we have our next board meeting, if you can, even if it's just like a short sentence, a little preview of what kinds of things you'd like to talk about, that way we kind of already can be thinking in the direction that you'd like coming in.
Okay.
I find that helpful when previous boards have done that. It has been kind of nice to just know what's coming.
Okay.
So if you could, if you would consider doing that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, sir. I will.
Can I ask a question too?
Yes.
I just wondered, Lee had mentioned something about division of duties, you know, like somebody taking over the membership role and Lee, is that something to be discussed now, or do you want to wait for that?
Well, yes, it would be nice if some of the things that one person's doing got distributed, because I won't be doing this for, I mean, only another, 30 months or so, less than that. So, and it's since I'm doing the work that two people used to do, and they did it marvelously and well, Larry and Marty Hansen. And I'm not complaining. I'm just like,
Honaker, you
it's
mean,
quite
right?
a bit. Yeah. It's quite a bit. And the chapter would be stronger if like membership and events got distributed. And this is another thing we need is like a marketing committee, because we don't, for example, PHP committee, we all have busy lives and we don't get out there to make it known that the PHP program actually exists. So we really need a marketing function. And anyhow, if anyone has a marketing hat, it would be, I don't know if I'm not trying to hand out committee jobs right now, but that the board
is there a way
members.
that you want to like make out a list of things that you would like to see
exists. Yes,
split
it
off?
does. And Janae has that.
Look, I've been looking over it, trying to figure out, get a handle on all the things that Lee's been doing that really, like he said, can really be divvied up into 2 or 3 or 4 people. He's doing 5 things, 5 different jobs,
Right.
5 different people.
One thing I would be happy to try and work with, if we can figure out a system for it, is I would be happy to try and figure out how to get like the sound stuff and the other Zoom laptop together. But the other thing that has to happen, of course, is that all of the tables and stuff have to be set up before that. And I think we should try and find, if we have somebody who is comfortable doing that, if Lee is unable to.
Yeah, but with the way it is right now,
it's going to be find someone with enough sight to do it.
Yeah, the trick is like I need to get it into a procedure, and I don't actually have that yet. I got sick with the gallbladder thing right at the time when I was maybe able to put a little work on that. Because if this cable goes to that between these 2 devices and what order that's done in, that needs to be proceduralized, and then after that it can be communicated and taught. And
yeah, I would be happy to try and do that once you get that down, and that's a hard thing. I know from even the mixer that I have, that sometimes figuring out how to get it to do what it's supposed to do is a challenge. So you might have to draw you a diagram, or I don't know how you conceptualize things, but
it'd be nice if I put the devices out on the table in the same order for once, so I'm beginning to get that part down anyway. So anyhow, Janae, would you like me to send out one of those spreadsheets, the simpler one?
Yes.
I sent.
Yeah, could you send me the massive one with everything?
Yeah, I'll send out the simpler one. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can take the time, if you're able to put it down to smaller chunks, then we can see, okay, these are the duties that we need somebody to do to make, things move a little better and give.
Well, and here's another thing that I was thinking about is the one thing that makes sense about the treasurer doing the membership stuff is that the treasurer also has to get the money to the state and stuff for the new members. So, I mean, I suppose there might be a way that somebody could help make that easier for you, but part of that is something that has been historically done that way, because the treasurer has to be part of the process anyway. That doesn't mean that someone couldn't pitch in and help with part of it. But
there's the division happens where checks have to go out or where checks have to be cashed. I mean, but the actual record keeping of what each person's record is, what their telephone numbers are, what their email addresses are, and stuff like that, that can be a separate function. And Yeah, I have had to think about that because I went insane trying to use Word documents like Larry and Marty had it, because I'm not, let's say my clerical skills are minimal. I do make mistakes. So that's why I developed an Access database, which I don't want to inflict that on anybody else. But if somebody did want to take that on, I know that I can't share that. I learned.
Is there a way you could that be converted into like an Excel sheet?
Yeah,
Even though I know
definitely. Well, he
Excel
has
isn't.
a couple of Excel sheets that he sent to me. So if you could just
I mean, for the membership part, could you take the records and Access and export them into like an Excel?
or
I
copy
could
and paste them
try
over.
that, but honestly, it probably works better in Word. That's terrifying, but true.
That is terrifying.
I know.
Actually.
Yeah, well, that's how they were doing it for 10 years,
Well, and membership is more than just collecting membership dues. It's also, coordinating with the Sunshine Committee. It's also following up on new members, potential members, members that have lapsed. It's phone calls. It's some of the stuff that Gail Baldwin has been doing, quite honestly, in an informal way. I think of her as our membership person. And maybe she hasn't had that formal title, but she does a really terrific job of keeping up with people.
Yeah.
And so membership is more than just collecting money. And I know that some organizations will use the secretary to do membership. Some will use the vice president to do membership. So there's lots of options and lots of collaboration. And while everyone is listening to me, I'd like to make a reframe suggestion when we're looking, social worker, always reframe. When we're looking for people to step up, maybe not like, oh, we have this unwanted task that somebody has to do, blah, blah. How about like, here's an opportunity for leadership. We want to hear from you. What are your skills and talents, and what do you have to offer your chapter?
I like that. And I'm saying this as the leader of this chapter. Whoever steps up to show the leadership skills or even learn some leadership skills, I'm willing to come alongside and help.
Well, and I think that's the other thing too. I mean, I'm myself a big proponent of cross training and having more than one person that can do any particular task, because that way it includes more people. There's more collaboration. And if someone gets sick or ill, or they get tired of doing something, there's somebody else that can just carry on, and there's a seamless task completion.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right. And get someone trained before the person that was doing it leaves. I mean, you see that at a job all the time.
That is an excellent point.
Yes, and that's what I intended to use year 6 for, my 6th year in the treasurer position, is training somebody. So anyway.
Well, and these tasks should not be a burden. They shouldn't feel like a burden. They should feel like, I get to do this. Yay. They wanted me. They asked for my help.
The good of the group, for the good.
Yeah.
It is. Hey, this week I got to learn how the Secretary of State's website worked for getting a trade name for the chapter. So, whoa, now I know how. All right.
Wow.
And I share with him that, there's a helpline if you ever get stuck on something. Don't feel like you have to do it by yourself. They're there to help you with that.
And by the way, while we're at it, Gail Baldwin has done so much for this chapter. And I call her the house mother. When I first got introduced to the visually impaired community, there are 2 people that helped me out the most. One was the first person was Ann Gazelle, and then it was Gail Baldwin. And through them, I met all of you wonderful people, and thank you so much for being here. And thank you to Gail for all that she's done for me.
Personality to say this about Gail. When I was probably 8 years old and someone else on this call was 7, I don't know that I need to be any more blatant than that. She had her yellow pilot dog lab, Abby, and when I found her again a year ago or so in the chapter, asked her if she had a dog named Abby at the time, and they were so good with kids, and Abby was a love bug, and Gail just was tickled pink that I would have remembered that. And all these years later, I said I'm 36 at the time, and I said, you too, I thought about you for years and I wanted to know who you were. And So it just was so
Huh.
neat to reunite. And she was one of the best, kindest people. So it was really neat. And we
That's great.
started talking.
I have a question. When we have people who are, and some people will call use this term, super volunteer, are we allowed to recognize them and at least give them a small token to say thank you for your hard work? Or
Yeah, I think we
I
can.
certainly
that wrong?
Yeah, because that
in
seems
kind of
appropriate.
organization?
I mean,
No, I think that's appropriate.
yeah.
I don't think it's
Sure.
been done very much, so.
Mhm.
Well, sometimes that helps people to want to do more when people recognize
Mhm.
the efforts.
Hmm.
People,
Yeah.
here, I thank you, get a card or flowers or something that says we really appreciate, and they get it recognized for that. And that's why I'm mentioning that.
Mhm.
Hey, I'm gonna have to run, so if there's anything I need to help with in the next couple minutes, that's fine, but I gotta head for bed here shortly.
All
So
right.
we'll
when
try
you're
to
gonna
have the
wait-
meeting a little earlier
We're-
next time, so you don't have to leave early, Erwin.
Okay.
We're gonna
thanks.
wait until you leave, Erwin, then we're gonna give you a whole list of assignments.
Okay.
And we'll talk about you while you're at.
That's what happens if you're on the state
Right.
board.
That's right. We'll
Right.
make sure they don't fit your talent stack at all. So there-
Yeah. And I do hope I have time. I think I will have time to finally get the membership list done in Braille in the next couple weeks.
That's good.
Oh,
That's
nice.
good.
Yeah.
I want to say this before you
All
hop
right.
on, Erwin, real quick.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only reason why, part of the reason, again, I said earlier, I want to have these check-ins so that I can at least, make sure that you all are okay, that you feel good about your role, that you're happy to be doing
Uh-oh.
what you're doing for ACB.
I think the guy's
wanna-
here. Hold on. I have to put you on mute
Okay.
Okay.
for just a second.
Well, I was just saying, I'm an encourager. That's one of my gifts. And so I always want to try to check in with everybody and encourage people and to make sure people are okay. And if they feel down,
Yeah.
that we're all, because we're all a team here, whether we really understand that or not. And everything that we do is helping our community to grow and prosper and even be seen in places
Right.
where we're not always seen. So we just kind of have to remember that sometimes. So I just wanted to say that before you hopped off, Erwin.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Talk to everybody later.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Good night.
Bye,
All
Erwin.
right.
I don't want to hold you guys much longer. I just, like I said, I'll do better at least having a 1, 2, 3 of what we're going to talk about at the next board meeting. But I'm still new in my role of this, so bear with me. It's, again, I haven't done a leadership role since college. This is all new. So,
And we appreciate your intention, Janae.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
so
Speaking of leadership,
you.
Janae, I don't know if it's
You're
appropriate to ask.
growing
you,
nicely into your role.
How was your experience, your first experience in DC for the leadership conference? What did you learn a lot from that?
I learned more about ACB, where they've been, where they want to go. I got to talk to other affiliate leaders, whether it's for their state or a local chapter like ours, and just to kind of hear that what we're trying to do here in Columbus, we're not alone in that. There's some commonality across the organization that people are kind of going for, especially that we're in our 62nd year of being a national organization. Just the networking, learning more about advocacy, because even though I've kind of been an advocate, but really learning more nuances and skills to advocating and leading, it was just good for me just to connect and to feed and learn. And I want to continue to do that. This is not the
Was
only
it
thing that I do.
difficult for you with dual sensory loss? I'm sorry, I'm experiencing that issue now. Was it all difficult for you with
Well,
the hearing?
I was born with a hearing loss, so I have worn a hearing aid in my left ear until I got into till I turned 40. Let's say that way. And I'm 44 now, so I'm not ashamed to say my age. And so my right ear was always my stronger ear. So for years, nobody knew I had a hearing impairment because they saw the hearing aid, but they didn't see it in the other ear. So I don't think most people thought of it unless I brought it up. My blindness was always my primary issue. And I was sighted until I was probably 20 or 21. I was diagnosed with glaucoma when I was 11. And so for the next 10 years after that, my sight gradually got worse. I learned to drive, but never got my license. And so when I was in college, even though I was a chapter president for ACB there at Wright State, I didn't understand at that age what I was getting ready to face. Because when you're in college, that's still like a safe haven. It's still a smaller city. It's still a little niche. It wasn't until I got out of college and got a job that I really started to really understand the discrimination, the barriers that I was getting ready to face. So it's taken me, the last 20 years to really wrap my mind around what I've been dealing with and what other people have been dealing with. So I'm coming into my own in my 40s. And so I'm trying to learn all I can everywhere, because I do this. I'm also on the board of directors for Greenleaf, which is kind of similar to functional training. They help people with disabilities find jobs. And I'm also on the board of directors for a startup that's supposed to be there to kind of replace the Vision Center. And hopefully that's the goal that Reggie England was starting before he died. So I'm trying to learn a lot and try to make sure I lead with purpose and integrity and good intention, and try to make the world a better place for all of us that are blind and vision impaired, and try to get our voice heard. Because I know not everybody has a loud mouth like mine. So I want to be able to be that voice for the voiceless.
You really did take quite an initiative becoming chapter president. I respected you just shortly after you came back to ACB. You were saying 25 years. I was kind of taken aback personally, and I respect.
I'm trying. I'm trying to make you proud. So who was it that had to put on me? Was that Nick? That's not Nikki. Was that Nikki or Catherine?
I'm sorry, what?
Who had to put us on mute?
Not me.
Wasn't you?
That was Mary, because
Mary.
her Spectrum text was
Spectrum
coming,
came. Okay.
Yeah.
or she thought it might be. So
Okay. So do you guys have any other questions or anything from me? Like I said, I'm trying, so I'm taking all the suggestions.
I don't have anything. Wish me luck. I've got no water pressure right now. There's been a water break, they've been working on the water lines all day, all day. I didn't know about it until, okay, now I have a little bit more than I did.
Do you have somebody that can bring you, buckets of water to you, like gallons of water that you can use?
I haven't got to that point yet. I don't think it does. It may have been. My dad said they were still working on it, even now, or even a little bit ago. So hopefully it will sort out soon.
If it gets that point,
The guy's down the basement. That's why I'm unmuted.
Oh,
Okay.
well, I'm gonna let you guys go so the Mary can
Okay.
take Spectrum and everybody get back to their evening. Thank you
All
guys for hopping on, and
Yeah, hang on here. One more thing.
one more thing. Okay.
Yeah, and this is
Go ahead.
prospective, and for the next chapter meeting, we'll want to handle this, because last year for the national convention, the chapter paid visually impaired folks who lived in Central Ohio, we paid the registration fee. So that's something to bring up. And if there's some way that can be expanded beyond the bounds of the chapter to students, say at OSSB or OSU, that would be something to look at. So I just wanted to mention that. So we can look at, we can handle that in the May meeting. So,
Maybe.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to, I have a list of organizations that, matter of fact, I need to forward to myself before they deactivate my OSU account, of organizations that are at OSU that are groups that deal with people with disabilities, primarily people who are blind, that I reached out to Scott Listener at OSU. Matter of fact, I need to forward that email to myself this weekend. So we have some people to reach out to for marketing and membership purposes.
Yeah, that might be neat too.
cool.
So I've been working hard on some things, trying to figure out how we can grow the membership, bring in new members, stuff like that.
Cool.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.